Good evening from Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Sunday. It rained pretty much most of the day. High was like low 50, so did not do any filming outside. I promised you a video talking about hoarding, and I messed up the editing, so I'm just going to reshoot it. So here we go, and I have no idea how long this is going to last because I think this is a very important point that I'm about to make, and I think it is a point that a lot of people should consider and should consider spreading around this information. Okay, so the whole country has grocery store shelves that are empty right now. The reason why they're empty, that you are being told, is because of hoarding. The media is using panic and hoarding and hoarding and panic and hoarding over and over and over. And they have prompted you, they have conditioned you to believe that the reason the grocery store shelves are empty is because of hoarding. I do not believe that. And you should not believe that either. People are not hoarding. People are prepping. You may call it panic buying. I don't see riots. I don't see violence. I don't see the normal things you see in panic. We're all going to the grocery store peacefully, calmly, getting our food and going home. And so the panic is we weren't prepared beforehand. That is the reason why the grocery stores are empty. Is we, individual we's, were not prepared for a 2-month-long quarantine. Okay, but what the media is doing is they are sensationalizing stories about hoarding. There's a famous story that everybody's probably already heard, the two brothers in Tennessee, that they stocked up on 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer and they were hoarding. Okay, that one story was spread around. I did a search on that story. There were 14,000 articles about that one story. And I'm like, this is not right. That, yes, there are people like that. That's not why the grocery stores are empty, though. There are very few and far between of the actual stories of hoarding. And they find those 2 or 3 stories and they blow them out of proportion until they have you blaming our fellow countrymen for hoarding. And we're better than that. We are not hoarding. And I'll prove it here in a second. The reason why our grocery store shelves are empty is, 1, we were not prepared. We were not prepared for a 2-month quarantine. Number 2, and this is important, the grocery stores do not keep more than 3 to 5 days worth of food in your area. That's it. That's it. That's the real story here that the media is ignoring. Everybody's ignoring it. Our grocery stores only have 3 to 5 days worth. If our transportation system were to go down, if we could no longer move across the roads for whatever reason, your area only has 3 to 5 days worth of food. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Yeah, that's, but it's so much easier to blame the hoarders. It's so much easier to blame everybody else. But that is the reality of our food system. We have gotten great at just-in-time inventory. We've got the big box stores. They don't have a back stock room anymore. Pretty much everything that they have is out on the shelves. All the grocery stores, that's how they operate, because we've gotten very efficient at resupplying our grocery stores. So especially toilet paper is a bulk item, and they do not keep, you know, a year's supply of toilet paper in the back room, and so that's why the grocery stores ran out. Now, those 14,000 stories about the hand sanitizer, when I did a search on that, I did a search on toilet paper supply chain. I found 4 articles. I think the New York Times, LA Times, Forbes, and somebody else. They actually had an article about our toilet paper supply chain. They interviewed a Harvard business professor. They interviewed supply chain professionals, grocery store professionals, the toilet paper manufacturers. They interviewed them to ask them, how does our toilet paper supply chain work? Just-in-time inventory. The manufacturers, within a day or two of producing that toilet paper, ship it off to their customers. Most of those customers, it either goes directly to their huge stores, or it goes directly to their huge warehouses, and then those chains from the warehouses will take it out to the... So it's less than a week from the time the toilet paper is done being made until it's on a shelf. It's less than a week. That is the truth. The same goes with all most of our food. Canned foods, you know, every item is going to be a little bit different. But in general, there's only 3 to 5 days worth of food and supplies in your area at any one time. Now, let's talk a little bit more about hoarding. Let's say you've got some dude who's at the grocery store. He's got 10 dozen eggs in his cart. 10 dozen eggs! Oh my gosh. He's got 30 cans of soup. Can you believe it? That's hoarding. That's hoarding. He's evil. He needs to be shamed. We need to call the police and lock him up. But more than that, he's got 15 boxes of spaghetti and 15 jars of spaghetti sauce. He's hoarding. Oh my gosh, he's evil. That's why the grocery stores are empty, and we need to blame him, and we need to blame him. We need to ignore that most of our food comes from 1,000 miles away. We need to blame that dude. Let's break that down for a second. Let's say the dude is buying for him and his wife. All right? 120 eggs. They each have 2 eggs, a very meager breakfast, 2 eggs a day, so they're eating 4 eggs a day. Over the course of 30 days, a month, 4 eggs times 30 is 120 eggs. That's 10 cartons of eggs. So those 10 cartons of eggs that we're blaming him for hoarding, that's only a very meager breakfast for him and his wife for a month. 30 cans of soup. Oh my gosh, call the police. Well, 30 days, 30 cans of soup, splits 1 can of soup with his wife for lunch. It's a very, very meager lunch. Yeah, we would blame him for hoarding. We would shame him. We would demonize him for hoarding. He's just got 2 eggs for breakfast and sharing half a can of soup for lunch. 15 1-pound things of pasta and 15 jars of pasta sauce. Oh yeah, well that's over the top. That's hoarding. Well, let's say, you know, 16 ounces is a pound. Let's say 4 ounces, quarter of a pound of pasta for each meal, and a quarter of a jar of pasta for each meal. So how long will you get 4 meals out of 1 pound. So how long will those 15 pounds last? A month. 1 month. So what sounds like on the surface is hoarding is only 1 month's worth of food. 10 cartons of eggs. Nobody ever needs that much. That's only 1 month of food for a husband and wife. 30 cans, that's only 1 month of food. 15 things, that's only 1 month of food for 2 people. We are not hoarding. We are not bad people. We are generous. We are kind. For the most part, you're going to find the outliers like those brothers in Tennessee who are trying to take advantage of the situation, but those people are not why the grocery stores are empty. The reason why they are empty is we were not prepared. We didn't have 2 months worth of food when all of this started. Some of us, I didn't have 2 months worth of food. I still don't have 2 months worth of food. I could probably make it last somehow, but so we can't go around blaming other people who are not to blame. And in fact, I think it's dangerous that we're blaming the grocery stores being empty on hoarders, because we're not learning our lesson. And the lesson is we need to be prepared, because the grocery stores only have 3 to 5 days worth of food in their system. If the transportation system goes down, then what are you going to do? The media and the politicians have turned us against each other, accusing each other of hoarding. I don't know why they're doing that, but they are doing that. And they are hiding the real truth, which is that our grocery stores are empty because we have a very efficient supply chain and because we were not prepared. So by blaming hoarding, it's an easy explanation. It's just an easy, oh, hoarding, that's why. Well, it stops us from thinking deeper and further about this subject. You know, 100 years ago, most of our food came within about a 3-hour radius of where we live. That's where most of our food came from 100 years ago. Sure, we have bananas and oranges and stuff like that, but most of your stuff came within a very small radius. These days, the average the average distance that food travels before it gets to you, 1,200 miles. 1,200 miles. Our entire food system relies on transportation, and heavy transportation. And we've gotten away with it for years. It's a very efficient system. It works. It brings you quality products at low prices. They can restock. Anybody who works in a grocery store knows sometimes they get daily shipments. Sometimes it's every 2 days, every 3 days. But rarely is it more than every 3 days. They've only got stock in the stores for 3 days worth. So what happens now? We know from previous local emergencies, like hurricanes coming through, when the news breaks, we know that people are going to buy about 5 times more food and toilet paper and supplies than they normally do. And we've already learned that about consumer behavior. The National Grocers Association, and they just put out their statistics, and what's going on with this national emergency. Depending on the area, we are buying 3 to 5 times more food and supplies than we normally do. So is that hoarding? No, that's not hoarding. That's people being smart. That's people being diligent and trying to reduce the number of times that they have to go to the grocery store in the future by stocking up now. Yes, 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 we should have all been prepared beforehand, but we weren't. And so now we're blaming it on hoarding when there should be 14,000 articles out there about the people who were prepared so that we learn, and next time it's not as bad. But we're not going to learn because we're blaming the wrong enemy. We're being forced to blame our neighbors for hoarding instead of realizing that the truth is there's only 3 to 5 days of food in your area at any given time. That's scary, isn't it? That is scary. We've also learned that in a national emergency, the government is not going to feed you or wipe your butt. We're out of groceries, we're out of toilet paper. The government has no handle on it whatsoever. Complete failure, complete ineptitude, incompetence, call it whatever you will. But we had a national emergency and we ran out of food and toilet paper and supplies. Now, we can, you know, that's a big problem that we should probably look into. You know, our capitalist system, where we're just-in-time inventory, companies are not set up to handle an increase of 5 times in the demand for their product. They don't have the manufacturing facilities. We can't just automatically go increase toilet paper manufacturing by 500%. We can't do it. And they wouldn't want to do it anyway because we're not using any more toilet paper than we have been. We're not using it. People are stocking up for the future, but we're not using more toilet paper. So the spike in demand after this comes over, we're going to be buying less toilet paper than we used to be. And so if they go and start making all this extra toilet paper now, well, they're going to have to shut down in the future until the demand comes back up to normal. So it's not in their business interest to be prepared for a national emergency like this. You know, apparently The government doesn't care about that either. We know this. Everybody knows that we've only got 3 to 5 days worth of food and supplies in our area. Everybody who pays attention should know this. And that's why you need to know that, so that you can keep supplies on hand for the next time. And the next time might be next month, you know. This virus is, you know, it hasn't hit Arkansas full blast yet, but I bet when it do, we're going to be shut down just like the other states. And I can see every state in the U.S. being shut down like that. Luckily, our transportation system still works. The truckers are still out there, the warehouse workers, the manufacturers, they're all still going. If our transportation system went down, man, then you would see hoarding, and then you would see panic. Because there would be no way to replenish those shelves. And we need to learn that lesson. We need to learn that lesson that there's not very much food in our area, and we need to take care of ourselves. The grocery stores aren't going to take care of you. Your government is not going to take care of you in a national emergency. You need to take care of yourself and your family in a national emergency however you can. And I know, well, that's hard for poor people. Yes, it really is. You're living, you know, penny to penny. You can't go stock up on 2 months worth of toilet paper and 2 months worth of pasta and all that stuff. I know that very well. And that's something we can help each other with. Instead of blaming each other for being hoarders, we should be looking for ways to help each other. So, another point I wanted to make is, what are we seeing in the media? We're seeing, but Jeff, I saw a story the other day, they're price gouging. The hoarders are price gouging. Man, you can probably find a handful of examples out there like that. The media sensationalizes it. They blow it out of proportion. Where are the articles on how the food supply chain really works? Where are the articles on how much food and supplies grocery stores actually have on hand? Where are the articles about Justin Rhodes' family? They've got a grocery store in there, they've got freezers full, they've got their own garden. Where are the stories about people like that who are prepared? Where are the stories about families helping family members that might be older getting groceries? Neighbors helping neighbors? They're not doing any of those stories. They're not teaching us a lesson on being prepared and helping others. But that is what's going on. Yes, the grocery stores are empty because we're stocking up. We're getting 10 cartons of eggs. We're getting 30 cans of soup. We're getting 15 things of pasta and pasta sauce. But that is not hoarding. That is being smart. That is doing the right thing. And that is reducing the number of times that we have to leave the house in the future. We should be celebrating people for finally waking up. It took an emergency for them to do that. But as we come out of this, we need to keep up with that message that being prepared is the best policy, because nobody else is going to take care of you. And we also need to stress that people are good. I mean, I'm often in the camp of you know, flicking off the general public as being a bunch of idiots. I'm prone to do that, but in this case, I am not wanting to demonize people for stocking up on food. They are not hoarders. They're doing the smart thing. They're doing the right thing to make sure that we reduce the number of contacts and straighten out this curve of this virus. We're going to get through this whole virus thing. You know, it may take time. It may take a few months, you know, depending on your area. I have no idea what the future holds, and I don't know what other people's needs are. You know, you can look at one dude's grocery shopping cart, and he's got 10 cartons of eggs in there, and you can sit there and you can lay in judgment of that person, but you don't know. You don't know, and they don't know. Nobody knows how much food we're going to need until things are back to normal. It's uncertain. We don't know. So we should stop projecting ourselves what we think other people should be doing. We need to stop those projections. We need to take care of ourselves, And that's the thing. Once one person's needs are met, they are in a much better position to help other people. Those are the news stories that we need to be finding. Maybe we'll find them here on YouTube instead of the mainstream media. It certainly appears like that to me. I haven't had a TV in years, but you don't need one these days. You got a Facebook feed with everybody piling onto it. So I just wanted to get that message out there that hoarding is not the problem. People not being prepared, that is a problem that we need to correct in the future. The grocery stores only having 3 to 5 days worth of food on hand. Well, we can't, you know, there's some policy stuff there. I don't know, can we force that? No, I don't, you know, it doesn't make sense to force those companies to have an extra year supply in case of a national emergency. So we need to take care of ourselves, because it is obvious the government has failed every single one of us. And frankly, if you ask me, every single one of them should be thrown out of office. They've failed us. A national emergency, and we cannot keep food in the area. I would suggest that is more of a local problem. Food and toilet paper and supplies like that is more of a local problem. So what are your local governments spending money on? I know from my days in Illinois doing policy research, the state of Illinois, $20 million a year they give to the Chicago White Sox. $15 million a year goes to the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Blackhawks, just to maintain their state-owned stadiums. College sports cost us roughly about $200 million a year. You know, everybody thinks, oh, well, they get tons of money from TV contracts. No, man. Eastern Illinois, Western Illinois, Chicago State University, most people have never heard of those colleges. They're not getting big money off of TV contracts. The University of Illinois in that one state is the only football program that breaks even. Every other college, every other community college with sports, we're spending $200 million. We don't even know how much is being spent on sports in high schools and grade schools. We don't even know. Nobody even tries to figure out that sum of money. Is that a better use of our local resources than being able to make sure everybody is food and has supplies in a time of a national emergency? I don't know, man. Counties, you know, counties have park districts. They've got soccer fields and football fields and baseball fields and golf courses. All over Illinois, there are county golf courses. Okay, how many communities out there have community gardens? Yeah, quite a few. How many of them have community farms? You know, way back when, we used to have poor farms. And that's when populations were much lower. But why can't we have something like that today? What is your local community going to do to make sure that its people are fed in another situation like this? But more important than what is your local community going to do is what are you going to do to stay prepared for national emergencies like this? That's the lesson we need to learn, is that everybody needs to have a couple months of food and supplies on hand, because we don't know the future. We do not know the future. We do know we need to take care of ourselves, because right now you cannot rely on the government. They're trying to appease us with free money. Yeah, that's not a solution. That's a short-term political fix. You know, they don't want to lose your votes. They should lose your votes. They should have all lost your votes. We have failed in a national emergency to take care of our basic needs. And that failure, okay, maybe it's not their responsibility to give you food and supplies. Well, darn it, they should be out there talking about it. They've got the power of the media at their disposal. They should be out there telling people to be prepared. But they're not. They're out there telling us to stop hoarding. They have no idea what hoarding is. Oh, man. Okay. I guess that's about enough of a rant for a Sunday night. So, Thanks for indulging me to get a little emotional on this stuff. But I really think it's important that we learn the lesson that we need to be prepared for emergencies like this, because our grocery stores can't handle it, obviously, and our governments can't handle it, obviously. Obviously, it's up to you. So take it easy on your fellow countrymen. They're not all bad, evil, demon hoarders. They aren't. They're good people who are doing the right thing and stocking up on food so that they didn't have to go out into the public as much in the future. Thanks for watching. Take her easy, everybody.